Hey guys, welcome back to Drog Baba and welcome back to another video. And we have with us today a very, very special guest from She Talks Ball. We have Radha Latha Gupta with us. Hi Radha, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Shaswat. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Radha. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. So, guys, if you don't know, Radha here is doing an amazing job. She is doing her best to highlight and bring out the women's sport all around the globe, not only in India. And she's doing her best. And she is running an Instagram page and also her YouTube channel, She Talks Ball. So please go check it out. Link is in the description below. And Radha, what were your inspirations behind She Talks Ball and how did it come about?
Yeah, well, I've never really followed women's sports or women's football specifically because I never really saw it on TV and I never really saw it in newspapers. So although I was an athlete all my life, I always looked up to a men's team or a men's tournament or whatever else it was. There were male analysts on TV. So I realized that women play sports, women play World Cups, women play Champions Leagues, but why aren't they being highlighted? I was a little confused about that. And I realized that there isn't enough content or coverage about it. So over the lockdown, I kind of, got into this much more. I started reporting, I started doing interviews, things like that. And I realized, why don't I start a platform of my own? It's just a passion project that I do alongside my studies and other things, where I highlight women's sports through content, coverage, conversation. It could be Instagram takeovers, it could be match reactions, reactions to draws that are happening, or doing podcasts and interviews similar to this one, just to get more content around women's sports. Because when there is more content, more people will start watching it, more people get interested, there'll be more demand. So that was really my inspiration behind starting She Talks Ball.
Yes, that is absolutely amazing. The kind of work that you have been doing, and it is actually quite inspirational for all of us. Me being included, we don't follow or have followed women's sports enough, and with the content like which you have been producing, it really attracts us and to really creates that interest that what is going around in the women's sport. I obviously follow Chelsea, be it the women's team, be it the men's team, but to follow the women's sport as intriguingly as we do the men's sport, then I think we need more platforms like She Talks Ball to do that. And especially, I remember when there was a buzz in the last women's T20 when our Indian team made it all the way to the final. And
Exactly.
we got to hear about some amazing players like Shefali Verma, Smriti Mandhana, our captain, Harmanpreet Kaur. So all
Yeah.
these sports persons, I think, need more attention. And I think you're doing a really good job.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Okay, so now as you all know, guys, all we do is talk about Chelsea on this channel. So today we will be talking about the Chelsea women this season and how the season has spanned so far. So rather a brief overview how the season has gone so far according to you, and has the team performed according to your expectations or even exceeded it at some point of time?
Well, look, so the season started obviously in this uncertain manner because COVID had just hit. In fact, the last season had been cut short. The Premier League went on, but the WSL, which is the Women's Super League, was actually cut short, and Chelsea were awarded the title on points per game. A lot of people weren't happy with that, but I mean, it's just one of those ways that you have to figure out a winner, and we had the highest points with the less number
I
of
was
games.
happy with that, being a
Yeah,
Chelsea fan.
obviously, we weren't complaining, but a lot of people, especially Man City, were a little bit bitter because we had just drawn to them 3-3 at the end of that season before it was cut short. So it was a little, it left a bitter taste in the mouth for some fans, but that's just how it was, uncertain times. But anyways, a lot of rest, recuperation, rejuvenation happened, and then the 2020-21 season kicked off. And Chelsea have just been golden. I always, on these interviews, I like to boast about Chelsea because they're doing really well, but I always feel like I might jinx them because I only have good things to say. It's been an incredible season, starting from our signings. We often forget that there's a lot of brainstorming and strategy that goes into the off season where summer is hit. All the players are at home. Nobody really sees any football on TV. But that's when signings are being made. That's when plans are being made. How are we going to win the Champions League next year? That's the aim in the coach's mind. And how are we going to win the WSL next year? So obviously Emma Hayes, our great coach, but I'm sure we're going to talk about her at some point. But look, she signed some incredible people, and not just she in fact says not just athletes, but I signed people to create a sustainable environment where people flourish, and it's just a thriving sort of atmosphere for everyone. So our season so far in the WSL, we've played 20 matches. We just have 2 more matches left. We've won 16, drawn 3, lost just 1 single match. We also, before losing the match, we had the longest run of unbeaten games. for any club, which has just been fantastic. It's testament to the players, to the hard work that the staff puts in, the coach puts in. And it's not just we're beating smaller teams or mid-table teams. We've been consistently beating the top three or the top four, and that's what a lot of teams lack sometimes. You can have a 10-0 scoreline versus, with all due respect, a smaller team, but then when you show up versus a big three or a big four who have won WSL titles, that's when your true test comes out. And Chelsea have been consistently performing very well under pressure, and it's testament to the results we've seen. So as of this moment, my WSL season review has just been fantastic playing. We've seen Sam Kerr come to light. She signed, I think, last Jan or something like that, midway through, in the winter signings. And she was very silent for that entire period. But then after summer hit, after we get this new season going, she's hit her stride, and it's, she's on top of the Golden Boot table right now. Hopefully she stays that way. But yeah, look, for every Chelsea fan listening to this, if you haven't got involved with your women's team, you're doing something wrong. It's high time you get involved. They're almost going to win the WSL. They're in the semi-final of the Champions League. There's no better time.
Yes, absolutely amazing the season that has gone so far, and it's good that you have mentioned Sam Kerr, and also if we talk about the Holy Trinity, like Fran Kirby, Pernille Harder, and Sam Kerr, I think these three are the most dangerous attacking combination that in the global women's sport that we have right now. I mean, it is a very lethal attack. So, do you think that okay, obviously it's a team effort, but how do you see the contribution of these three main players? Like how massive their contribution has been so far in this season?
It's been incredible. Look, Fran Kirby's been with us since 2017 or 16, in fact. And then Sam signed in the winter, Pernille signed in this summer. So this trio is very recent. It's not like they've been playing for 5-6 years together. It's a very new combination and very stark difference. England, Australia, Denmark, we've got three nationalities coming together as well. And it's just a salute to Emma Hayes' planning. I always say this, and I say that you can tattoo it on my forehead. Emma Hayes always has a plan. She knows what she's up to. And this Holy Trinity, I feel very safe when I see this trio on the field. And I'm sure an opposing fan shakes a bit, is a bit nervous to see these three come out. Because you say, oh, Fran had a bad day. Oh, but Sam was there. Oh, Sam had a bad day, but Pernille Harder was there. It's like you just can't get enough of these superheroes on Chelsea's team, just coming up, showing up one game after another. If one person is, and that's the beauty of having so many good players, is the defenders are looking at Fran Kirby or where she is, but they miss Pernille Harder coming and scoring. Or, it's not, you're not able to keep track of everyone who is a threat. And that's the beauty of this Trinity, is that each one of them is a threat, not only goal scoring, but assisting wise, creating play, taking possession back, having intercepts, tracking back to defend. It's just incredible. This trio has been one of the highlights of Chelsea. Obviously, the back line and Katrin Berger in goal, probably the goalkeeper of the year for me or for any football fan watching the WSL. But yeah, look, this Trinity has been exceptional, no doubt.
And talking about Berger, what a save it was in the Man City game in the dying moments. We saw your live reactions on the YouTube channel, and our reactions were also quite same. We had our hearts in our mouth and could have conceded the title, because if that had gone in, we could have lost 3 points to Man City, direct rivals for the title. So thanks to her, we are still in it. And I think, do you think that the title is in the bag with 2 games remaining, Spurs and Reading, or is twist in the tail is still there in the dying moments of the season?
I don't want to say anything because I'll jinx it, but
the title is in the bag.
Yeah, you have to look at the history that we've had with these teams and, the run that we're on. Obviously, now we are assuming that Man City and Chelsea both will win the remaining 2 games that they have. And that's why this was a title decider, right? And that's why this had so many eyes on this fixture, and people were writing about it, doing live reactions like I was doing. We're talking about it right now is because this fixture was the one to watch. It had been the one to watch since January, since both teams have not been losing any games, since Man City and Arsenal dropped a little bit. These 2 teams have been up there. It's always been a case of just coming down to that big 4, and one of those big 4 clashes is going to be a title decider. So a rational football fan who's been watching the WSL for a while can put their money on it and say that clash decided the winner. Obviously, we've seen stuff go wrong. Brighton has beaten Chelsea, I think, in February. Reading, who we're going to play, has beaten Manchester United, who beat Arsenal. And it's got a big, competition is rising, no doubt. But Chelsea and Emma Hayes are a top team, and they can come out, winning against any team in the world. So I would like to think that we've got the title in the bag. And obviously, but Emma Hayes is just going to take one game at a time. We've got Champions League right now, and once that WSL fixture versus Tottenham shows up, we'll show up too.
And as you said that all these teams have been beating each other, and we have lost a game against Brighton, and all these teams, tend to each other. That is the beauty of English football as a whole. Like we see see it in the men's game also, that team comes out of nowhere and upsets a huge team. Like we lost against West Brom, a team who's going to get relegated. We lost 5-3. So anything can happen. And so guys, for all those of you who don't know, if we talk about the men's game, there was a huge talk about Man City going for the quadruple in the men's game, and before Chelsea knocked them out of the FA Cup. But the Chelsea women's are still in it for the quintuple. If you don't know what a quintuple means, that we can go ahead and win 5 trophies in a single season. We already have won the Charity Shield. We have the Conti Cup in the bag. We have won the Conti Cup, and we are all set to be the Premier League champions. FA Cup, it still remains to see what is left of that tournament, because round 5 will begin on 16th of May, and Champions League, we are in the semi-final. So all these big competitions, we are dominating them one by one. Almost 3 trophies we are going to win, including the Premier League title. So coming to the big one now, the Champions League, we are facing Bayern Munich, one of the strongest teams of this competition. We knocked out Wolfsburg in a very dramatic fashion, and it was a very nervous draw in the first leg, I would say, but the second leg we absolutely smashed it. And G was absolutely superb in that second leg. I saw the whole game and I was very proud of the performance. And it was a very professional performance, be it from the defenders. And I saw that midfield was very strong. We were not allowing Wolfsburg to make those quick passes in the center. And the kind of ball recoveries that we made in the midfield, which eventually led us to win that game, because we were able to catch them on the counter. So do you think that we are all set for Bayern Munich, or we are still the underdogs going into the semi-finals of the Champions League?
Well, it's a really good point, because Bayern Munich are on top of their German table, we're on top of the English table. Both teams, I feel like, have a lot of expectations on them. But personally, I think if you go in as an underdog, that mentality is always better for a team. You don't want to go in as an overconfident, we just won our WSL, we're coming to the Champions League, look what we're going to do. Because it takes a toll on you or yourself. If you go in as the underdog, you say, hey, we need to put our head down, work hard. This team is capable of putting 3 past us, 4 past us. We're going to block that. We're going to hit on the counter, whatever your strategy might be. I think that always works better just in a mental aspect for all the athletes on the field. Now, I think that this clash, maybe 2 years ago, Bayern would have been the underdogs. We'd be like, Bayern, how are they in the semi-final, right? This year, they've beaten Wolfsburg in their first fixture in the Freund Bundesliga. Women's Super League, obviously, Chelsea are doing really well. Both have had great runs till the semi-final. I mean, there's a reason that both teams are in the semi-finals, because they've been on top of the game this season. All uncertainties, all pandemic-related issues, COVID cases within the teams, outside the teams, postponements, tight schedules, putting everything aside, these teams, including Barcelona and PSG, the other semi-final, they've shown up. And that's testament to not just the players, but the staff, management, and how they've controlled their teams, the schedules, everything around that. So this fixture, the first leg, which is on Sunday, and the next leg, which is the next Sunday, are really big. And, for the first time this year in the Champions League, when the top 8 were left, I looked at this top 8 and I said, hey guys, this is scary. Like when the draw came out, when the draw was happening, I was actually nervous, because 8 out of the 8 teams could have won the Champions League. Lyon getting knocked out in a quarterfinal, you don't see that happening. Wolfsburg, Wolfsburg versus Chelsea. Chelsea have a really poor history versus Wolfsburg in the Champions League. Pernilla Harder has been on the Wolfsburg team for the past 5-6 years, just knocking Chelsea out consistently. So this is another strategic Emma Hayes signing, right? She signs Pernilla Harder in the summer, not for the WSL. WSL we won without Pernilla Harder. She signed her for the Champions League, which we are yet to win. And if we're going to win it any year, I feel like it has to be this year. So are we ready for this Sunday quarterfinal leg? Absolutely. But are Bayern ready? Definitely. They're ready too.
Yeah. And as you rightly mentioned, I was coming to that point that Lyon getting out is a huge thing for all the other 4 teams, because it's a giant of a team in women's sport. And for all the viewers who don't know, that Lyon they are like the Real Madrid of what Real Madrid are to the men's Champions League, they are to the women's Champions League. So you spoke about Emma Hayes a lot, and the kind of signings and the strategic signings that she made, and all the work that has gone in the preseason. after we signed a couple of players in the January transfer window, all this COVID pandemic. And to point it out, she has been our longest serving manager, as she has been in charge for last 11, 12 years now. And it's been absolutely amazing. This is a testament to her managing styles, that she keeps it fresh. She keeps innovating. The players are not mentally exhausted by the same style of management. The only fair comparison I can think of is Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger, who were like in their jobs for a very long time, for more than 15, 20 years. And you see the hunger season after season in the players, and they don't look weary, or they don't look exhausted, because what we see is that we have seen it with some other teams also, that if a team does consistently well for 3, 4 years, there is a natural end to that cycle, because the players get exhausted to the same training routines, to playing according to the same tactics. It becomes very difficult for a sports person to tune their mind to go out there and put their 100% every time they're out on the field. So do you think Emma Hayes has to have a lot of credit here, the kind of management that she has been doing with this Chelsea team?
Yeah, absolutely. And we just don't talk about Emma Hayes enough. We have these podcasts, we have all these recordings. Oh, Fran Kirby, oh, Pernilla Harder. Like, there's a mastermind, there's a puppet master behind all of that, and that is Emma Hayes. She is this is the reason she has so much respect around the women's football world and the football world in general. It's just incredible to have a manager in your club for 9, 10 years now, keeping it fresh, keeping it consistent, having players. One of the reasons I feel players immediately sign extension contracts. Frank Kirby recently signed one until 2023. It's because of the atmosphere that Chelsea has created, and that the leadership that Emma Hayes has. Players want to stay back. Big players like Pernilla Harder want to sign and want to play under Emma Hayes, because that's the kind of personality she is. And that's the kind of manager you want for your club and for your team. Not someone who, not a sort of club where coaches keep coming and going after 2, 3 years. Because on one hand, there's freshness to that, but there's also instability. There's also uncertainty. The players are not sure what's going to happen. Is this going to be my coach next season? Are they not going to be my coach? What's the style going to be? Am I going to be able to adapt to that? Should I loan out somewhere, sign somewhere else? Emma Hayes has consistency, stability, but keeps it fresh. She often says, this is one of her lines, I am paid to win. That's all. You have coaches who are very stubborn, who stick to their style of play, even if they go into losses and losses. She says, hey, I am paid to win, and I'm going to make sure that my team wins. We play a scrappy game, we'll play a scrappy game. If we go down to 10 women and we to play some different style, we're going to do that, because I'm paid to win and this club needs wins. And that's what I'm going to provide. And you can see the results of Chelsea so far. So Emma Hayes deserves a lot of credit, because not just the 90 minutes on the field, not just the training off the field, the signings. The signings are crucial. You have to make strategic signings. You can't just pick up a golden boot winner from somewhere else and plonk them into your team and say, okay, now do your thing. Do the same thing you were doing there. It's not going to work for them. But Emma Hayes has made it work with Sam Kerr. You've seen that. It's just completely incredible. I'm sure the players also, just completely credit it to Emma Hayes. She's quite awesome.
Yeah, that is a testament to her stamp of authority on this team. Like, this is my team. There is no interference. Whatever players I'm bringing in, they're my players. And we have seen this go wrong with the men's team in this season itself. We spent 250 million odd in the summer window, and we all thought that we will take the European football by storm. And we are barely fighting for a top 4 place now. And so, this is the kind of brain that Emma Hayes has, and the kind of planning that she does with the players and all these signings that she has. So I think absolutely amazing job she's done over the past decade, and to make Chelsea, and we are well on our way to becoming a European superpower in the women's game. And the final question to you, that do you think that we will get the quintuple this year? We will do it. Yes, a simple yes or no.
Oh man, I just hate doing this, because I feel so guilty if we won't do it. Look, I'll say it this way. If there's any year that Chelsea women were going to win the quintuple, it's going to be this year. That's all. It's very hard to say that, oh, we're going to win it, because you just look at the Champions League draw, and I can see PSG winning it, Barcelona winning it. Bayern Munich could just come up with storm on Sunday and completely wreck us. We've been playing every 3 days. So have they. So it's very, very hard. Like, I think with the English football tournaments are still relatively easier compared to the Champions League. because the Champions League is the top 8 are the best in Europe. You know how the drill is. Like Champions League is the Champions League. The WSL was the hardest. We've got that hopefully in the bag. The FA Cup is yet to be seen. Conti Cup is in the bag. Community Shield is in the bag. I think that's just testament to Chelsea. Look, Champions League. If we win the Champions League, we'll win the quintuple. Let's put it that way. But if we don't, then it could hamper our morale a bit. But yeah, if we win the Champions League, we'll win the quintuple.
Yes, so the fingers crossed for all Chelsea fans. Let's hope that this comes true, whatever Radha has said right now. So Radha, before we leave, I would like you to educate our viewers and to just spread a message that how we can do our best as a community and as sports watchers as a whole to promote the women's game and how to highlight that so that it can get the attention that it deserves.
Right. Thank you for this platform. I'd love to say that. So for people who are listening, probably Chelsea fans, this applies for the Chelsea women's team, Chelsea Academy team, whatever team it might be, because the men get a lot of highlight. So how you as a viewer or as a sports lover just sitting at home can actually contribute to the development of women's sports in general. I like to go by 3 C's. That's content, coverage, and conversation. Now, you don't have to be in a power of authority or have a lot of money to do any of these 3 things. Conversation is simply talking about it. Content is simply tweeting about it. Coverage is simply writing about it. Maybe having a video like you are doing, Shashwat, right now. That's coverage, right? These 3 C's are very simple. You can just lie in your bed and put out a tweet saying, hey, I'm watching Chelsea women tonight. And that makes your followers aware of what's happening in the world, that Chelsea women are playing right now. And look, Shashwat's watching Chelsea women. That might be interesting. Let me give it a watch. Let me check the score. Things like that. So these 3 C's, what it really does is it snowballs into conversation, and that conversation snowballs into demand. And the second broadcasters see, oh my God, there's demand for Chelsea women. That will be on BBC. Next, you've seen the Sky Sports BBC deal. They've got, they've had this deal where they're going to put up a lot of matches on primetime TV, see women athletes on TV, and get inspired. So all these 3 C's, simple things you can do at home, snowball into demand, because these broadcasters, the ones with money, are always saying, hey, we're not going to get revenue. Why should I show this on TV? Hey, nobody's going to watch this. Why should I show it on TV? So make them see that there is demand. Make them see and understand that I want to watch this. The second you do that, it'll be on TV, like we've seen already. Its development is happening, but we need constant influx of people and demand. And a simple tweet, literally the next time you watch a Chelsea game, tweet about that good pass that Fran Kirby made or the good save that AKB made. Just small things like that will go a long way. So that's really what I do.
Yes. Some simple steps, but if we do these things correctly, it will go a long way to promote the women's sport. That's our final aim, that we should, do our best, whatever we can, to promote this sport globally as well as in our country. So again, Radha, thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on this show with us today. And guys, please check out Radha. The link is in the description for She Talks Ball. Also check out her Twitter, her Instagram, all those links you will find in the description below. Thank you, Radha, for being with us. Okay, guys, take care. Please follow the COVID guidelines. Take care of yourselves. And don't forget to keep the blue flag flying high.